Lights on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you don't like that, turn away now. Kings in our blood, we rise strong and proud. Running up the score, Kings never back down. If you don't like that, this ain't your town.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is indeed our weekly Roundtable, Kings and the NBA. Yours truly, Ryan and Sacktown, Jerry Reynolds. And we are brought to you in part by New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. Just go to sackserviceplumbing.com or call the number on your screen. They're available 24/7. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. Again, that is sackserviceplumbing.com or 916-713-1010. Don't forget about the weekly happy hours at Bennett's, Sacramento, Roseville, and the West Side Grill. 2 to 6, their sips and taste, great prices on their shared plates and wine specials. Hey, folks, enjoy the holiday season at Bennett's Prime Seafood and Steak. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com and make a reservation. That's bennettsrestaurants.com. Great to have you with us. We start off reviewing what happened with the Kings and Denver the other night, Jerry. Bottom line is they lost, and you keep talking about this, and rightfully so. You're not going anywhere in the NBA with a bad home record, and the Kings' home record is awful at 6-8.
Yeah, they clearly. I mean, you look at all the better teams in the league. You're talking about home record like 9-3, 10-2, that sort of thing. And I mean, for all the other issues that the Kings have, I think that's the biggest one because, when you're 6-8 at home already, 14 games, that's a big part of your home schedule. So. I guess in a nutshell, these home games coming up, you got to win them all.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The defensive rating, 23rd when they're at home, 9th when they're on the road. For whatever reason, the defense does not show up at the G1C, Jerry. And that was the case down the stretch. Everybody's talking about DeMar dropping the ball, but the Nuggets scored on 6 of their last possessions to end that game.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, and we saw that, I think, really from the jump. For the most part, I thought the third quarter the Kings defense was pretty good, but overall, I mean, the Nuggets were able to score too easily. And I don't care how good you are offensively, you got to get some stops. And really, it's not like the Kings have to be the best, but if they're just in the top 10 or 12 defensively, they can win a lot of games.
My issue with the Kings right now, after the losses, Mike Brown repeatedly talks about, and I'm paraphrasing here, the team not paying attention to details, the team not following what was discussed as far as the game plan goes during the morning shoot around. He talks about that repeatedly. And my question is, why the hell not? Ryan, I don't get it. I mean, he talks about it all the time. Are these guys not listening to the coach? Are they tuning him out? Are they only listening sometimes? I mean, it's the same story after every loss almost.
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit of a disconnect there. In fact, Coach stepped it up a little bit today. And if you ask the guys, we hear it from them. Yeah, we got to lock in a little bit more. We got to get the details. Coach called out Foxy today.
I'd say it starts with me. It ends with me. But Fox has to step up. He's a great player on the verge of being a superstar. And there are those guys, and there are the superstars that win at a high level. And part of his responsibility, starting with him, now that doesn't excuse Domas, that doesn't excuse DeMar, that doesn't excuse Malik, and even Keegan at a young age, doesn't excuse everybody. But you have a lot of responsibility if you're that guy, and he's that guy. And he can't be a part of not being locked in. And he for damn sure can't be a part of letting it go if we're not as a team.
That's pretty strong words from Mike Brown. Jerry, your reaction?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm 100% behind Coach on that one. Certainly the players have got to go play and they can all play better, but some of the problem in my mind, and I'm going to second guess here big time, is his own schemes. I mean, when you're switching 1 and 5 on high pick and rolls, well, that's a double mismatch. I mean, when you're starting a McDermott and DeRozan at forward against Porter and Aaron Gordon, why would you got 2 mismatches every time down the floor? And those are coaching decisions. So he did say he starts with me. Well, yes, it does. And yes, the players have to focus and they have to be tapped in. But a third thing, and I would question this, is like, what are you doing at home games to get your team ready to go play? Whatever it isn't working. Do something different. I mean, there is.
They were down by 20 points at the end of the first quarter against Denver. I mean, that's unacceptable.
Yeah. That's unacceptable. I mean, so I don't know what your plan is at home as opposed to on the road, but clearly it works on the road and it's not at home. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I say, whatever it is, change something because it isn't working.
Well, Jerry, Coach Brown's been notorious for kind of pulling back the shoot-arounds. If the Kings have had a breakdown where the guys aren't locking in, then he will run things to a T and be in charge of everything. But we also hear so many times in the post-game press conferences, well, Foxy called this on the court or Domas called this on the court. And Mike's made it no secret over the last year and a half. He's let this team operate with a decent amount of autonomy. How do you pull that back and how do you navigate it when you're a team that's now been together for almost 3 years?
Well, I think it's a great point you make there. And I mean, how you do it is just by calling guys out and saying, I will call more. I'll start calling plays maybe. Or if in fact you guys, basically get away from what I want to do, I'll take you out of the game. There has to be some repercussions. It's no different than if you're, raising your kids and you tell them not to go do something and they continue to do it. So I mean, I really do. I get it. I mean, I know Coach Brown's a very smart man and they could be doing everything right in the shoot-arounds. But if it doesn't translate to on the floor, yeah, or at least for key parts of the game, which is, I think, kind of what it is. It's not big things generally. I mean, obviously, the start of the game every night was big and you didn't have Keegan, who would have matched up pretty well on Aaron Gordon. It made it tougher. But anyway, yeah, at some point there's enough blame to go around. If this team is talented enough now with Malik starting that they can win.
All right. If you're DeAaron Fox, how do you handle those comments by Mike Brown? Ryan?
I think you roll with it. He's responded. He showed that he can be coachable. I think it's interesting with the timing, certainly, because that's about as strong, like you said, Grant, as you're going to get from Mike Brown. But you have no point, or you have no choice but to respond. And I think you pull the leadership in a little bit more, and you take control. I mean, if we do have to say there's one fault that we hear from the fans, or one thing about Fox's game, is, well, it takes something from the other team to get him going. It takes a bad call to get him going. Jerry, how does Fox just get himself going?
Well, I think that is a key point there. And I think, between Coach Brown and Fox, maybe they can come to agree, get a little together before games, really talk things out. Maybe he needs to challenge DeAaron on a daily basis. I mean, some guys need that. I do think his points are accurate, about if he's going to be a true superstar, which he could be. He has enough talent to be a real superstar. He's got to be more of a leader, more aggressive, take things on his own. I think that's all true. And so it's up to Fox to adjust. I don't know that you need to make it public. Let's put it that way.
To me, this is a guy that knows he's got a long-term guaranteed deal now that they gave him in the offseason. And he's probably like, I'm going to do this my way, and this is the way it's going to be. And if they don't want me, I'm taking my money, and I'll see you later. I mean, Mike Brown's in a pretty good position right now.
Yeah, you're right, Grant.
Yeah, he's no, I was going to say, yeah, he said, well, okay, get rid of me, and I got 17 million the next 2 years. And so, but I mean, and the coach has got every right to handle however he sees it. I mean, and I'm just second guessing here a little bit. I know that, but I just think probably from what little I know of Fox, he's a very sensitive young man and very humble, modest for his talents. I just think a lot of the same criticisms just to him personally would work just as well, if not better.
All right, so the Lakers are in town tomorrow. Ryan made a great point on the show the other day. He thinks that this is like a fork in the road, these next 2 games. And, if you lose both these games, you're in deep, deep trouble. I don't think they will, but the Lakers are healthy, and they're still the Lakers, and they're coming off a big win at home against Memphis. So I'm sure they're feeling better about themselves. These are 2 huge games coming up. Make no mistake about it.
I think that, I really think the Kings have got to win both of them. I mean, I really do. I mean, Kings are at home, and this is a direct competitor for any kind of playoff spot.
Yeah.
And to your point, Grant, I mean, the Lakers are playing pretty well. And I think, LeBron took some games off personal reasons, and he's fresh, which is not good. And so, but, if you want to be, competing for a top 6 spot, you got to win your home games, and especially against teams you're competing with directly.
Yeah, the Kings got to come out and play with pace. They can't wait for Colby Jones and Keon Ellis to kick that off. The Lakers are old. They're a little bit slower. They want to play more of a ISO style. They only had 23 assists last game, and they still beat Memphis. 15 fast break points. So get up and down the court however you have to do that and make them feel you. And I think the pick and roll, Grant, that Malik Monk, Sabonis, and others have been playing has affected this team well.
I don't think there's any question about that. That's very evident. And I'm going to go and follow that up with this. Trey Lyles, full participant, looks good to go. What do you expect from him, Rhino?
Grant, I think about the same. I don't know. The one untold is what he's going to do with that second unit because of the style, the way that second unit has been playing. You don't have as many spot up opportunities right now. It's a lot more up and down. And with him being out, and I know he's done what he's needed to do to stay in shape, how's that going to affect him? What kind of minutes can you play? I mean, Jerry, what do you see Trey's role now coming into a basically center by committee bench situation?
Yeah, it is one of those things where I don't know what he's going to give them, but I know what they need from him. They need some scoring. He really needs to come in and be effective offensively with that second unit. I mean, right now, Keon Ellis is it, and for the most part, that you can count on good play. So. But it's also true that Trey not only has been hurt a lot, but he has not been effective this year overall. So he should be fresh, and whatever he can give you, you're not going to win this game without Trey Lyles in my mind, is going forward here being somewhat effective. Doesn't have to be the star, but if he's going out there, you better get 8 or 10 points out of him.
The bench is going to be real key here because it's been the weak spot of this team all year. And now, for the first time, really, hopefully you're going to have a healthy team, and then we'll see what the rotation is going to look like. How many minutes does Keon Ellis play? I think he's back in favor of the coach. I think Mike Brown singled him out after the game the other night. I really like what he did defensively. I mean, he's part of your rotation. I don't think there's any question about that. The question is Jones, how much are these guys going to play, right? Like, I wonder how deep Mike Brown's going to go now with a full bench.
Well, I think, it's like with McDermott. I think the guy, you can use him. He's a specialist, but is he a 20, 25 minute guy? Well, I don't think that he is anymore. But I mean, so other than Lyles and Keon, and if Herter were healthy, that would be your 8 guys, and anybody else is going to be a spot player. And I'm not sure what Jay Crowder does for you at all, but period. So the guys that, especially that's why Lyles, Herter, Keon are so valuable. I mean, you have to have production from those 3 guys.
Yeah, I think this will also be Coach's opportunity to have a little bit of bite behind his bark. You know, if DeAaron's not doing something, if Monk's not doing something, they might not get pulled out for a long stretch. But I think Coach has enough confidence to throw Colby in for a couple of minutes based off of what he's done over the last couple of weeks. Same goes with Keon. I think Jordan McLaughlin's kind of lost in no man's land, not really a role for him at this point. And then we all know you got Devin Carter at some point when he's reevaluated in January, February.
Well, I think that'll be a real key too. With Carter, you need, it's maybe unfair, but you really need him to be able to contribute as a rookie off the bench. I mean, there's a spot for him, and so we'll see. I mean, but boy, it's going to be tough.
Well, I'll tell you, if the Kings do lose tomorrow, the pressure on the next game is going to be unbelievable. You've got a very temperamental owner. You've got a team that's 12th in the West right now, and Jerry thinks they've got to win both games. And I'm not saying I disagree with that, but if you lose both games, oh my goodness, wow, it's not going to be fun being in that building for a while. Trust me.
Well, especially because it's the Lakers too. That adds to it.
Right.
I mean, if it were the Houston Rockets, you'd still be ticked off because you need to win them. But this for most of us, it makes it even more important.
Yeah, Christmas bonuses will be an extra practice and a few extra emails.
Oh boy, it's not going to be fun. What concerns you? I like the matchup still with the Kings and the Lakers, and I thought Ryan and I both thought Mike Brown probably had his worst coach game of the year earlier in the season when they lost to the Lakers. I like the way the Kings match up with the Lakers. I think that was evident last year. The Lakers have a little bit of a different look. But Ryan, what's the number one concern with you when you look at this Lakers team this year?
I think Jerry hit on it. It's the switches. They love to look for those switches and isolate in the opportunities where they feel that they have the advantage. We saw it all day in the second half with AD. And you've just got to, as Jerry said many times on this show, pressure. You've got to deny and not allow them to get to those opportunities where they can get those matchups. Share.
Yeah, the guard line for the Kings is just far superior to the guard line of the Lakers, both offensively, I think, and defensively.
Yes.
Austin Reeves is a very good player, but he's not quick and fast. You can pressure him, and you must pressure him because he's smart. He can get the ball to the right people, meaning James and Davis. So that'll be a key for me is how much pressure you can put on him. I mean, certainly D'Angelo Russell and I mean, he's a spot shooter, but clearly they're going to have really trouble guarding our guard line. So that's the real advantage. I think with Domas, he's always done pretty well with Davis, and that's a push. If you get a push there and a win at the guard line, I think the Kings have a really good chance.
Yeah, here's one of those other things, too, that we've seen too many times against the Lakers. We've seen stupid fouls. And when I say stupid fouls, if you're going to foul LeBron. It can't be ticky-tack. Same thing with Anthony Davis. A ton of easy and ones. They got to get their money's worth if they go in for something like that.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, with LeBron, yeah, he's going to get, he's going to challenge you. And I mean, to credit, that's where, again, Keegan is so important because, at some point, I mean, he can slow down either Davis or James. I can't stop him, but I think he can make it a little difficult on him.
All right, the West, as we talk, the Kings are 12th right now, under 500, 6-8 at home. And we'll table this for a moment. I want to get to the big news the other day as it relates to the format for this year's NBA All-Star game. Kevin Durant notably was the first guy to come out and rip it and said he doesn't like it. Is it a gimmick? Is it the NBA ignoring what's going on in the league? That's the first thing I want to talk about. And then after this, I want to talk to you about the state of the game because there's been so much talk about the three-point shot and how it's affected the game based on the analytics. And Adam Silver also addressed that. Jerry, let's start with you first on the All-Star game format. What's your take on it?
I hate it, detest it. Will not watch. I wouldn't watch it if they played it out here in the cul-de-sac in front of my house. So other than that, that sums it up for me. It solves nothing. if you want to have an all-star game, have an all-star game and have guys compete like they've done for decades until the last 10 years. All of a sudden, it's become just a joke. And if it's going to be a joke, then don't have it. Have some skill games and call it a day.
Don't have an all-star game. Just have an all-star Saturday night. Mix the mini games into the three-point competition and into the slam dunk contest. The one thing that I will say that I detest about it even more is you only pick 12 all-stars from each conference. Team rosters are larger than that. And now you have a fourth team, which will be the winning team of the Rising Stars game. This was a perfect opportunity to get 3 extra all-stars from each conference, and you take the MVP of each team in the Rising Stars game, and there's your fourth team.
Well, that's a solution.
Makes perfect sense. That makes it better. I mean, like I say, I like the idea of, hey, select your all-stars, give them credit for being all-stars, and have a Saturday all-star Saturday night and this, that, and the other. So, I mean, what's left for them to try? I'll go back to, Michael Wilbon had the perfect suggestion several years ago. Have an all-star group from Americans in the NBA and internationals in the NBA.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a game.
It'd be a hell of a game, and I'm confident there'd be competition because the internationals would bring it.
I'd be putting my money on them. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I would.
All right,
for sure.
Yeah, Jerry, you talk about suggestions. Your suggestion years ago, to me, has made the most sense of anyone in terms of what the game needs. Analytics have changed the game, and that's true of all sports, not just basketball. And you said years ago, and I don't, it's so simple to me, Jerry, just get rid of the corner three. That would do wonders for the game. It would do wonders for the game.
Yeah, it would take, it'd make the three-point shot valuable again, like it's supposed to be, a special shot. Get away from the cheap three, which is exactly what the corner three is. It's closer. You don't give guys 12-foot free throws on certain occasions. So get rid of that. Instead of having 50 threes, you still probably have 25 or 30. And I like the three. I just don't like it taking away any kind of inside strategy of the game. So one other thing I thought, I'm not at all sure they should not just take away the corner three, but move the line back a foot or so.
Adam Silver did say they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, the really great 3-point shooters, the range is the range. Curry and Lillard and those kind of guys, they're not worried about that line. Now, lesser shooters are. And that would kind of be my mind is, okay, now it's the skills. It really raises the skill level again. But yeah, I think that, and I think they've got to do something. And Grant, you've talked about it for years, and you're right. Is in all these challenges, there has to be a speed up factor. You made the call. You got 30 seconds to get on that TV or whatever. And if you don't see something that can make you change the call, it stands and get on with the game. It's just taking away the rhythm and flow of the game in my mind. And then I would eliminate some of the teams' timeouts. They don't need them all, especially late in games, 5 minutes to go and it takes you a half hour.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I take everybody back to this moment. This was the moment that Adam Silver was at rock bottom.
And to the Eastern Conference All-Stars, you scored the most points. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, that was the All-Star trophy presentation last year. He rolled out the red carpet. He did absolutely everything he could to put this All-Star game on a pedestal, an LED court, an NFL stadium, and the players didn't care, right? And so for me, I think Jerry brings up the perfect answer. It's taking away the corner three, but it's not going to be that easy. I feel like they're going to outthink this thing to the point where it's going to be, we're going to cap 3-point attempts. I mean, realistically, other than changing the line, which you can't do, what's the answer? I don't know.
Well, I think that's a good start. I mean, I think it would, make the game a little more appealing once people got used to it. But like I say, I think anything you can do to speed it up is also worth doing. Clearly they got to do something because TV ratings are dropping significantly.
Right.
And quite honestly, the league is kind of a house of cards. It's built on TV money.
Well, that moment. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. So, they know. I mean, at some point, their partners in the TV industry are going to say, "Why are we paying more for less?"
Yeah, and I think this is not going to be a popular take. I think Adam Silver has put the refs in a very difficult position because it's not a coincidence that that moment happened and then all of a sudden the whistle changed the second half of the season. And more times than not, we have seen games get a little bit out of control because the refs are still reffing that way, and then they try to bring them back, and it ruins the game. It slows the
Yes.
game down. And so it's a mess. It's just a mess right now.
You spot on. You hit that right on the freaking head. It is a mess right now. And the question is, what are they going to do to fix the mess?
Yeah, you wish you had confidence they would. I mean, bless David Stern, I'd have very much confidence that he would. But I'm not. I have very little confidence in Commissioner Silver. But like I say, with even the ref thing, to me, they have not really did what they should do as far as referee. Get the very best refs. It's not a DEI deal. Get the best refs. Encourage guys who are former players to take the training, but whatever it takes to get the best refs on the floor, and then whatever you can do to speed the game up to where people, like I say, it's one of those things where baseball years ago went to sleep at the switch when they were the America's pastime, and let football with more action and all just pass them by, and they're still searching. Now they're trying to fix it, but it's probably too late.
Jerry, how far away are we from that with basketball?
I think a ways. I mean, I think the game itself is still a lot of action and a lot of fun. I like I say, I think with a few minor fixes, I think it could get back on the right track. I mean, there's a great talent in the league, and I like the game. I just think minor fixes I think would make it better. And just probably, of course, everybody would love to see fewer games probably, but that's not going to happen because you need.
It's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. But well, anyway, I mean, they're going to have to realize that people's attention spans are different than they were 40 years ago. And if you want somebody to watch a basketball game, when you got all these breaks in action, I think football will have to address that at some point too. But at any rate, it's a new sporting fan.
Grant, here's the other thing really quick. The games right now, short of cable television, you get them. You can see the games. We're starting to move to an area where it's going to have to be locally. You're probably going to pay a subscription. So if you're seeing ratings fall now, how's that going to affect the game even more as we move on to the future?
The league can't allow that to happen. Adam Silver cannot allow that to happen. Bottom line, he can't allow that to happen. That's why he's going to have to make some changes to the game and the way the game is played. And he did acknowledge as much yesterday. He did acknowledge that, but I don't know if he, his comments regarding the 3-point shot didn't resonate with me, but he did acknowledge that they're looking into all of this stuff. We'll see, right? Stay tuned, as they say.
Stay tuned. I mean, the fact that they have recognized the problem, I think they're slow in recognizing it, but that's a big step right there. I just hope that, I'll say the other thing I think would help, basketball fans and for every newbie they're trying to attract or running off oldies. People that are serious basketball fans, and it makes no sense. It's almost like a Bud Light commercial. It's like, who are you appealing to here? And but I just little things like why don't you home teams wear white? And and you don't need 4 different color uniforms and sets. Home, away, maybe another one just for special occasions. You know what
Yeah,
that
but you go into the team store and that's why they have them. I mean, that's why. It's all about money. It's about merchandise. I agree with you 100%, but all the teams are doing this. Look at the Minnesota Vikings the other night. I didn't even recognize them on
Yeah.
Monday Night Football. I swear, I'm like, I did not even they've never worn a white helmet in their entire history of their franchise, going back to the whenever the hell they started, before Bud Grant. What the hell is that all about? You know? Like, I mean, it's just, that's where we're at now. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is, and you know, and I guess that's what the marketing people say. We're selling more jerseys. I'm not sure they're selling more. They're selling more different ones, you know. But if you didn't have the white ones and had the purple ones, would a lot of the fans still buy those? You know, I don't know. But then the last thing, and I know this, most fans would think this is pretty silly, but I've talked about it before, is why do you allow multicolored shoes? It should be, if you're a team that's red and white, your colors, then the shoes should match.
I
You know,
agree 100%. I
it-
totally
it-
agree with that.
It's ridiculous. It's called a uniform for a reason.
Yes, I
be
totally
uniform.
agree with that. I that thing bothers me to no end. It really does. And we're nitpicking here, but I think the bottom line is the league. And Adam Silver's not stupid. Say what you want about Adam Silver. He's a very smart man. There's no way that Adam Silver can allow, or I will say will allow, the game to continue down this path without making changes. He can't. He sees what's going on. He can doubt. He can publicly say, I'm not concerned, or he can say anything he wants. But behind his closed doors in Fifth Avenue, they know they got an issue and they have to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, that like I say, that's a big first step. I just hope that he will, you know, listen to the Pat Rileys and Larry Birds and Larry Browns and long time, you know, basketball people more than marketing people. You know, that's all. I mean, I think
Yep.
it's get back to basics a little bit more.
Yeah. Who do you think right now of the top teams that we're talking about? And we'll put the Kings in there because everyone's bunched together. You know, we keep on saying the Kings are 12th. They're right on the doorstep of 6, really.
Right.
They're that far
Yeah.
out. Who are these 12 teams? Who are the teams that you think are ahead of Sacramento right now that you're not really worried about, that you think are going to really fall? We're seeing the Warriors start to really take a dive. You know, was their hot start an aberration? Who are the Golden State Warriors, Jerry?
I think the way they started is probably an aberration, but I think they're still a pretty good team. I think they'll be in the mix there, just like the Kings. I think there's, you know, it's kind of the same thing. I think the Clippers will fall.
Yeah.
I just don't see them, you know, hanging in there very well. Other than that, it's tough because I think Houston's for real. Obviously, Minnesota's they're getting it together. Denver's a thin team. You know, they're a little bit like the Kings. Their bench is so thin, and they need help that way. But they'll still win because they got Jokic. And Dallas is. I'm not at all sure Dallas won't be as good or better than Oklahoma City before it's over again.
Well,
Very interesting. Yeah.
and then the Clippers. To me, I don't know what to make of the Clippers. You know, they're hanging around. And you just wonder, are they going to get Kawhi Leonard back? And if so, what's that going to be like?
Yeah, if they do and he's healthy, then they're not hanging around. They're moving up.
Right.
So that's a concern. I just think with they played well. I mean, I'll give them credit for where they are. They've earned it, but I just don't know if they can sustain it without Kawhi Leonard. I think they're very vulnerable just from the talent base.
Yeah, and you got James Harden. As the season gets closer to an end, you know what his production usually does, especially in the postseason.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hey, don't forget that Sunrise Landing in Calusa is their newest residential community. Go to CalusaSunrise.com. That's CalusaSunrise.com. Check out their various models. No Mellorews, no homeowners, close to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. Good access to the major roads like I-5. It's all there for you. Just go to CalusaSunrise.com and you'll get all the information that you need on beautiful Sunrise Landing in Calusa. And don't forget, tomorrow on the postgame show, I will have a rant with Grant, brought to you by EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. Just go to their website. You get all the information at edhmotors.com. This is a long overdue new concept. And if you're in the market for a vehicle this holiday season, get in touch with David and Adam. They will take care of you. Decades of experience in the automotive industry. And here's the bottom line. All right, if you go to EDH Motors and you don't see a vehicle that you want or you're looking for, don't problem. You give them a call. They'll get exactly what you're looking for. That's what they do. You want a certain type of a vehicle, they got you covered. EDHmotors.com. That's EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. And tomorrow, a rant with Grant. I need some ideas. That's coming up tomorrow on the post-game show. Guys, some final thoughts before we wrap up this weekly roundtable?
Well, I think I've espoused all my thoughts. I mean, I got them out of my system. I feel better.
What word? What word was that? You espoused? What word?
Espoused?
Okay.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
no, that's okay. That's I use words that I don't know what the hell they mean either. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, in French Lick, we only had 200 words we're allowed to use. So
and you'd like to use 2 of those words to me right now.
But yeah, it's hey, hey, at the end of it, guys, just Kings got to win home games. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a really fun atmosphere. Bring it if you're going to the game. It's already big regardless of the Kings standings because it's the Lakers. Keep an eye on Domas and Keegan. They didn't practice today. Make sure everything's good there. But big 2 games. Big 2 games. And
next Wednesday being Christmas, we obviously won't have a show, but we'll pick a day next week that works for the 3 of us because I definitely want to continue this show. Jerry, you're a treasure. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your work.
Enjoy you guys as always and the fans out there. And hopefully I'll settle down here and work in the rest of my day. Get it out. I've got it out of my system. I'm okay now.
And don't forget, Ryan, tomorrow we've got the Kings Court. We've got the Kings and the Lakers pregame show with Rhino, the 3 of us at halftime, and then we'll have the postgame show as well. Rhino, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Jerry.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Bye.